Hello, welcome to the book drop. I'm Becky Chambers and my throat is sore. Sometimes water just doesn't exist to me. I work at the Marlborough Library over on 35 West Main Street. Open from 9 to 8 Monday through Thursday, 9 to 5 Friday through Saturday. Oh, we will be closing at noon on the 24th. We will be closed on the 25th, reopening the 26th at normal hours. And then on the 31st, we'll be closing at noon again. And don't tell anyone I told you, but on January 1st, we will also be closed. A few of the things I checked out in November, where I went to the cafe, where I checked out our monthly art gallery. We also have an ongoing book sale going on in the cafe. Then I went to our bi-monthly book donation, which is continuing this month. Then I checked out the writing marathon. And lastly, I went to the book club, but I got too into the discussion and didn't actually get any footage. On the 10th of this month, I visited the Antiquarian Book Fair, which is a yearly book fair held in Boston for rare booksellers. I was able to walk around and even talk to a vendor or two. Hello, I'm here with
Richard Erdmann from Mare Booksellers.
Wonderful, and what are you here selling today?
A lot of countercultural ephemera, punk zines, LGBTQ stuff, things like that.
Oh, very awesome. What's some of the stuff you have on the wall here?
I have some radical posters from the 1960s, some Arcrum art, a lot of trans flyers for events, things like that.
That's awesome, and how are you liking the convention so far?
I like it. You know, I have fun. This is my third year doing it, and it's nice to meet people, things like that.
Awesome, fantastic. And where can people find you again?
I'm on marebooksellers.com on the website, and I'm in Dover, New Hampshire.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
As always, we have a bunch of amazing programs coming up at the library this December. Tuesday the 3rd at 11, we have Everyday Scams and Identity Theft, a presentation on the various scams encountered online, by mail and in person, as well as identity theft and what to do if your identity is stolen. There will also be time for a discussion after the presentation. As opposed to some of our other programs, no registration is required. Friday the 6th at 7, we have Stormlight Archive Trivia Night in celebration of the 5th book in the series. Not entirely sure what any of those words mean. Anyway, Monday the 9th at 6, we have Creating Mini Memories Painting Workshop, where local artist Christina Farah will teach you how to make a beautiful painting on a mini canvas. Saturday the 14th at 3, we have the Woman of Note Holiday Concert. Come and hear your favorite holiday tunes sung in the barbershop style by this multi-award winning all-women group. Thursday the 19th at 6, we have Teen Craft Night, where teens can come and make winter-themed shadow boxes. Saturday the 28th at 3, we have Melodia Zach coming back for a holiday concert, and he will be doing a special holiday set. Monday the 23rd, we have Santa Gnome Workshop, where just like you thought, they'll be making gnomes that look like Santa. The Adult Book Club will be meeting this month on Tuesday the 10th at 6 and Thursday the 12th at 11. We will be having a holiday party, and we will be unveiling next year's books for the clubs. You don't want to miss it. I'm sure you are already well aware, but December 10th is Dewey Decimal System Day. The Dewey Decimal System is a library classification system published by Melville Dewey, which if I had to make up a name for a guy that came up with a library classification system, that would be it. The general gist is that subjects are given a number from 0 to 999, and then if needed, specified further by adding decimals. The broadest categories are represented in the hundreds, such as religion being represented in the 200s, science as a whole being categorized in the 500s. I can show you specifically on this book. So, 500s are for sciences. 551 represents earth sciences. 551.5 is used for meteorology, and 551.5784 represents snow specifically. Technically, you can classify fiction under Dewey in the 800s, but most libraries that use it, including the Marlborough Public Library, only use it for nonfiction and separate fiction alphabetically by the author's last name. The Dewey Decimal System is not a perfect system by any means. It's old, and Melville Dewey was a bad guy, and both those things can still be felt today in certain areas. It's actually been officially modified 22 times since its first version in 1876 in order to represent changes in cultural and societal norms, like moving the LGBTQ topics out of abnormal psychology, where they first were, and into the social sciences. or the current efforts to reclassify the 200s to give more space to religions that aren't just Christianity. Christianity goes from 220 to 289, with all other religions being relegated to the 290s. Any classification system used for large, ever-changing collections, like a public library, is going to have some subjectivity to it. There isn't an exact science. Books on psychology can be found under 158, but books about how mental health affects your physical health can be found in the 610s. Books on civil rights are found in the 300s for social sciences, but also in the 900s for history, depending on what angle the book takes. So where does this leave us? Do we keep relying on the revisions that come every 10 or more years? Do we individualize the system for each library and for the community that it represents? Do we do away with Dewey altogether? Nonetheless, I think it's important to look at how the systems around us shape the world we live in and shape how we see the world. If you ever need help with anything with the Dewey Decimal System, you can go down to the first floor information desk and talk to one of the reference librarians, and they can help you with any of your Dewey dilemmas. So this month, I felt it'd be really nice to ask the librarians for recommendations for cozy books. Here's what they gave. A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers is a sci-fi novella about a future solar punk society on Panga, a habitable moon. Our main character, Dex, finds a robot in the woods, and they travel the land trying to discover what people need. Themes of community, queerness, and purpose are abound in what I saw someone describe as a warm hug as a read. If you like this book, it does have a sequel, A Prayer for the Crown Shy. The next book is Every Heart a Doorway by Sheenan Maguire. This is a fantasy novella about children who find doors that lead to other worlds, but their parents don't believe them. It is a series, and each book details the travels of one specific kid. The next book is A Man and His Cat by Umi Sakurai. This is a slice-of-life manga where an old widowed musician gets an unwanted cat from a pet shop. This one specifically is actually a staff selection, so I'm actually just going to read that. The stakes in the series are low, but the adorableness and emotions are high. The cats are too cute. Perfect review. The next book we have is A Royal Spiness by Rise Bowen. This is a mystery series about, let me make sure I get this right, Lady Victoria Georgiana Charlotte Eugenie, who's the 34th in line for the English throne. She's completely broke and works as a maid to make ends meet. This is until she becomes a spy for Queen Elizabeth and shenanigans ensue. It's recommended to read the series in order because the relationships between characters grow and change, but each book has its own standalone story. This one specifically is actually the 15th in the series, and there are 18 in total. The last book here is Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. This one is set on Lumar, a planet covered by seas made up of spores instead of water. We follow Tress, a humble collector of antique cups, as she searches for her love, Charlie, whom we learn has been captured by the infamous sorceress. Tress ventures far from her tranquil Emerald Sea with a pirate crew full of silly yet suspicious characters. The novel is whimsical and carries a message about how the journeys we undertake changes as people. There are also hints of the Cosmere. All right, what is the Cosmere? What are the Stormlight Archives?
That is weird. I've never heard of that before.
Great question, Matt. Thank you for asking. The Cosmere is the shared fictional universe created by author Brandon Sanderson. It includes 3 core series and a handful of standalone novels, novellas, short stories, graphic novels. The main series are Elantris. There's only 1 book, but 2 and 3 will be here by 2030. There is the Mistborn series, which currently has 7 books out of the projected 16. And, of course, the Keystone Stormlight Archives.
And what are the Stormlight Archives?
It is a currently 4-book long epic high fantasy series. The 5th book is going to be out at the start of December, called Wind and Truth. And it has, the 4 novels are currently Way of Kings, Words of Radiance, Oathbringer, and Rhythm of War.
When was Rhythm of War released?
Rhythm of War was released
In 2020.
Wow, so he hasn't written a book in 4 years?
Well, he's actually been working on a lot of other stuff. Last year, 4 books were published. There are the secret projects. Most of them, 3 out of the 4, have connections to the Cosmere.
He's crazy. Why do you guys like these books?
Well, I was a Harry Potter kid growing up, and I just found that Brandon Sanderson's books right here really helped kind of fill that void I was feeling after the Harry Potter series was over. I'm a big fantasy reader. The bigger the book, the better. And frankly, his writing is just really accessible. And I just find that it's an easy, if you're not really a big fantasy reader but want to try it out, they're really great books just to try to dip your toe into that genre.
Great answer.
Well, they look like a lot. They are very big. But the best thing about Brandon Sanderson's writing is that it's very easy to get into. It's pretty simple writing. You're not going to be stuck reading long poetry and having descriptions that you don't really understand. You're going to see the world, and you're going to see the characters as they are, despite the length of it.
Mm-hmm.
And as I mentioned, all the books are in a shared fictional universe. So they have laws that underpin each of the magic systems. So the magic systems vary from book to book, but they all are related to each other in a way. And across the books are numerous Easter eggs and crossovers, and characters appear in one book and then appear in another book. And for me, I really enjoy the sort of behind-the-scenes story that's being told.
How am I going to find time to read all these books in my busy schedule?
You know, you don't need to read every Cosmere book to get started or to enjoy Brandon Sanderson. We like to recommend the Stormlight Archive as a kind of the first step into it, just because it is his kind of passion project. It's his big story. Eventually, it's good to read the other Cosmere because there are a lot of hints towards other things and with the shared universe, but you don't need to read the rest of his work to appreciate Stormlight Archive.
Oh, okay.
I think most of Sanderson's books work as standalones or like standalones within the series. So you don't necessarily need to know like all the other additional information that you get from the Cosmere, but it is a fun extra layer to like kind of peel back after you get into it.
Oh, very cool. So who would you recommend this series to?
Well, I'm a big fan of The Wheel of Time, and it has a similar epic fantasy twist in terms of the Stormlight specifically. However, fans of the Cosmere would also likely come from fans of George R.R. Martin, Tolkien, Pierce Brown, any fans of those authors or a series similar to that.
These sound really good. Are they just for adults?
Well, no. Sorry, I don't know.
No, that's awesome. No, that was so good. That was so good.
Well,
So are these books only for adults?
No, as I mentioned earlier, they are accessible. I like to recommend them for maybe ages like 15 and up. It's easy to read, it's easy to digest, and the content of the book is appropriate for a younger age as well. We also like to recommend them because it's not just fantasy. There's a lot of crossover. There's some romance. There's some horror. There's some steampunk, a little bit of sci-fi in there. So it really is appealing for all sorts of readers and all sorts of people that like to get into this sort of stuff.
Whoa! I'm sold.
Excellent, because on December 6th, to celebrate the release of Wind and Truth, we're going to be hosting a Stormlight Archive Trivia Night at the library. So 7 p.m. Friday night, December 6th. If you have started, reading up on Brandon Sanderson and just want to come, spoilers, there will be some spoilers, but come test your knowledge, and we are really excited about hosting this trivia night.
Fantastic. I guess I better start studying then.
Yeah, let me get you the books. Here you go.
Yeah, sure. Oh, these are just 4 books? Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. We hope to see you at the library.